Hello there students, this is your instructor Dhruvi Bhatt and today we would be talking about the basic introduction to economics. In the previous lecture we understood that why should we study economics as engineers, how is economics useful to us and how will economics help us in our real lives in choice making scenarios. Today we would be understanding definition of economics, the nature of economics and also scope of economics. Let us start firstly by what exactly economics means. Economics actually is derived from a Greek word oikonomikos, which has two parts, oikos and nomos. Each of these parts means something and this is the actual meaning of economics. Oikos means home and nomos means management. Ideally, economics is derived from the basic word home management. How do people tend to manage their home with the scarce resources available with them? That is the study of economics. But there is no escaping here. It doesn't have a definition as simple as that. We have different economists who have defined economics in different ways and you must be knowing all the definitions very promptly. Let us try to understand different definitions of economics. The first definition of economics was written in the Wealth of Nations book by Adam Smith. Adam Smith is known as the father of economics and he gave us the wealth-oriented definition. Remember, he gave us wealth-oriented definition. What does the definition say? He defined economics as the study of nature and causes of nations' wealth or simply as the study of wealth. Students, he told us that economics is nothing but simply study of wealth of nations. How a particular country or a particular nation accumulates wealth. What do you think? How a particular country accumulates wealth? He said that there is an invisible hand driving everyone, who drives everyone to accumulate wealth. He told that people are selfish by default. That is why to satisfy their own needs and wants, they will go out and earn money. Because they will earn money, the country on the whole will accumulate wealth. He told that each and every individual is a rational individual and that rational individual thinks about his or her own motives. He is an economic man and he wants to successfully complete his will and wishes. To complete these wishes, he would be needing money. He would automatically go out and earn wealth. Government can collect taxes from him and automatically government will also earn wealth. But students, this definition faced a lot of criticism. The first criticism says that there is too much emphasis on wealth and no emphasis on well-being of humans. According to this definition, a person is correct if he is earning wealth, even if he is selling drugs or even if he is selling cigarettes or even if he is selling alcohol, even if he is selling or producing products which are very much against the norms of societal living or which are very much against the health of the society, then too, because these products are making a person wealthy, it is justified according to his definition. So there is too much emphasis on wealth. Also, there is no consideration of human beings at all who are earning this wealth. There is emphasis on only accumulation of wealth and not on the person who is accumulating this wealth. Here the person is considered as just means of accumulating wealth without thinking about his or her own family or without thinking about any other factors. a man is considered to be a very rational and economic man, which is again too much to think about, because a person does not only live to collect wealth, but there are many things which a person does in his life. Like we usually go out for a holiday, we think about our family, we think about other things apart from earning wealth, and that is why his assumption was wrong. His definition faced a lot of criticism, but yes, he is the father of economics and the first person to define economics in his book Wealth of Nations. After the criticisms came the second definition, which was given by Alfred Marshall. He gave us the material welfare oriented definition. He told that yes, economics is study of wealth, but we should not disregard the welfare of people while talking about wealth, because people are actually behind accumulation of this wealth, and if their welfare is not considered, then this wealth would be of no use at all. So he told that economics is actually study of a man in ordinary business of life. It inquires how he gets the income and how he uses it. Thus, it is on one side the study of wealth, and on the other side, and the most important side, the study of mankind. He told that yes, wealth must be considered while studying economics, but more importantly, how a person chooses to use his wealth or to accumulate his wealth, that must be considered too. This definition thus is human oriented, man oriented, person oriented. It gave more importance to mankind and his welfare compared to wealth. He told that economics is actually study of both a person and wealth, and how the person uses this wealth, accumulates this wealth. This is more importantly a welfare oriented definition, but my favorite is yet to come. The third definition was given by Leonard Robbins. As I told you, this is my favorite, and it is a scarcity oriented definition. I think that this definition does proper justice to the word economics. He defined that economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Yes. He was perfect when he told that economics is actually where we try to study that what is the end result a human being is expecting, what are the alternatives which he left behind to achieve this result, how he achieved these results, and as he had scarce resources, how he chose to use one of the resource to get this particular result. This is what exactly economics is. At least I like this the most. Okay, this is a scarcity oriented definition where he tells that resources are always scarce, wants are always unlimited. How we as human beings bring out a balance between these two. This is what economics is. I would like to explain you this definition with the help of an example. Suppose this is an expense sheet of Bob. He spends a lot of money every month. This is a monthly expense sheet where he spends 5,000 rupees on transportation, 15,000 rupees on groceries, 5,000 rupees on electricity bill, 2,000 rupees on gas bill, 6,000 rupees on shopping of clothes. Also, our Bob is not a 9-to-5 worker. He needs to hang out with his friends, and that is why he spends 9,000 rupees in hanging out. And our Bob also thinks about future. That is why he wants to save some money. He saves 10,000 rupees. This brings his total expenses to 52,000 rupees. But there is slight twist in the story. His income is 30,000 rupees. What should Bob do? Should he tell his superiors that, okay, my expense My tentative expense per month is 52,000 rupees. Please increase my income. Will they increase his income? No. The second point is that if his income becomes 52,000 rupees, will the problem be solved? Will he be able to satisfy all his wants? Answer is no. Obviously, his wants will increase. How he chooses to spend this 30,000 rupees to fulfill all his needs and wants? What should he cut down? Which expenses should he do and which expenses he should not do in order to match up to his income? This is what the study of economics is. That how will you use your 30,000 rupees to satisfy your needs and wants worth 52,000. This choice making is what economics teaches us. Okay. Moving forward towards the last definition of economics, which was given by Professor Samuelson. He gave us growth-oriented definition. He was very much agreeable with the definition of Leonard Robbins, which talks about scarcity and how we try to use scarce resources to meet unlimited needs. He just wanted to add one more point to that definition. The growth-oriented definition says that economics is the study of how people and society end up choosing with or without the use of money to employ scarce productive resources that could have alternative uses to produce various commodities over time and distributing them for consumption now or in the future amongst various persons or groups in society. It analyzes costs and benefits of improving patterns of resource allocation. Actually, students, he here included one major point that when people make decisions, they do not only think about today, but also about future. Economics is about choice making. Economics is the study of how you tend to use your scarce resources and meet unlimited needs and wants. But while choosing, you do not only think about today, but you also think about future. This is what his idea was, that economics is the study where people tend to make a choice not only to thinking about today but thinking even about future. When I made the expense sheet of Bob, I specifically wrote that 10,000 should be kept aside for savings because his workplace wouldn't keep him forever. There would be a time when he will get retired, at which time he will have to use his savings. That is why people tend to make decisions based not only upon the current scenario or today's scenario, but thinking also about future. This is what this definition tells, that economics is actually the study of how we distribute not only money. I too gave you an example of money, but economics talks not only about money but even for all the physical resources which you tend to distribute for different uses. You tend to distribute resources as well as money in such a way that current goals as well as future goals both are satisfied, and economics makes sure that both the goals are satisfied. This is what economics is. Please remember, we tried and understood 4 definitions: wealth-oriented definition by Adam Smith, welfare-oriented definition by Alfred Marshall, scarcity-oriented definition by Leonard Robbins, and last but not the least, growth-oriented definition by Professor Samuelson. Okay, moving forward towards knowing the nature of economics. There is a constant debate going on whether economics is science or an art. Let me first differentiate science and art for you students. Science is something which you need to learn. It is something written before and it is something which is experimented and it gives you the same result time and again, then it is known as science. Okay. And art is something which is more practical in nature. You can just do something, experiment and learn, and it's okay even if you are wrong. Is economics learned theoretically or practically? That is the question here. Or is economics a science or an art? I'll give you an argument in regard of both these things. First, let us try to understand that whether economics is science or not. Economics is a science. Why so? The first argument in the for scenario is economics is science because it is based on systematic body of knowledge and facts. Economics is something which is based on facts and figures. You cannot just say something. In economics, you need to analyze the facts before taking any decision. If the demand for a particular product is high, there will be a reason behind it. So there will be facts related to economics, and that is why we can say economics is a science. Secondly, it correlates the relationship of cause and effects. Economy is a science. In science, we have always seen that every effect has a cause. There are no things like ghosts. Every effect, if something moves, then there is some force which caused this movement. In science, every effect has some cause. Similarly, in economics too, every effect has some cause. That is why it is a science. If stock prices rises, there is a cause. If stock prices get down, there is a cause. If price of a particular product rises, there is a cause. If resources of particular product are scarce, there is a cause. For each and every effect in economics, there is a cause, and that is why economics is a science. Thirdly, economics is a science because all the laws of economics, just like laws of science, are universally accepted. Economics of India and economics of USA do not have different laws. We have the same principles of economics governing people of each and every country universally. That is why economics is a science. One more reason why economics is a science is because all the laws of economics are by experimentation and they have been tested. For example, the law of demand in economics, which we would study in one of the coming chapters, that as the price of any product increases, the corresponding demand decreases. This law has been tested at different places. It is universally accepted and it has been strongly proven, and it is tested time and again on different commodities. That is why we can say that just like scientific laws which can be proved by experimentation and can be tested time and again, the economical laws can also be tested, and that is why it is a science. It is a science because it can make future predictions based on past events or past data. You can predict that what demand of a particular product would be there, or what would be the price of a particular stock in future based on the previous prices. Because these predictions are possible, just like in science, we can predict that when I mix together hydrogen and oxygen, it will give me water. Similarly, here too, I can predict that what will happen to demand of certain product if its price will decrease. That is why it is a science. Last but not the least, it is a science because it has some scale of measurement. You can measure things in economics using a very important scale, which is money. Money is a very important parameter and scale of measurement of economics, which can measure economics throughout the world. We can measure the GDP, the GNP all other different factors of any country using this scale, and that is why economics is science. Just like science, which also has scale to measure each and everything, economics too has scale for measuring things. Okay. But students, some of the people argue that economics is also an art, because you can easily understand economics by practically analyzing the situations. Like Harshad Mehta was not an economist, but he still studied the rise and fall of the stock market, and he actually got quite a hold over the market. So, if something can be understood by practical implementation without its study or without its thorough knowledge, then that thing should be known as art. If something is easily learnt by practice, then that thing should be art. Then economics is an art. Both the concepts are quite right, and that is why our economics is both science as well as art. It has arguments in both the favors, and that is why it is an amalgamation of a science as well as art. Moving forward, let us try to understand scope of economics. Scope of economics means how much economical theories are implementable in the world, which are the areas where economics is useful. That defines the scope of economics. Scope of economics defines economics in two major branches, which is macroeconomics and microeconomics. Okay, macroeconomics is economical study of large number of things or large number of people or an entire country. Microeconomics is the study of single element in the economy, which is you and me. Microeconomics is study of a single consumer or a single producer. So, the scope of economics divides economics into two branches, the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. Okay, let us try to understand the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. The first difference is that microeconomics talks about the decision making of a single individual in an economy, about what decisions they make, thinking or taking into consideration economics. Who are these individual agents? As I already told you, it is you and me. What decisions do we have to take? If we are a consumer, suppose I am a consumer, I wake up each day, and what is the first decision I should make? What is the requirement of my family? How many kgs of sugar should I buy? How much flour should I buy to cook today? How many milk packets should I buy for everyone, for satisfaction of everyone? So students, this is the decision we make as a consumer, the quantity of products to buy or to consume. If I am a producer, if I am a businessman, what is the decision I would make? Suppose I am a manufacturer of a chair. At what price should I sell this chair so that it is profitable? Considering the raw material, considering the salary of the employees, at what price this chair should be sold? That is the decision I should make as a producer. So, as a producer and as a consumer, what you decide, the study of those things are considered in microeconomics. While macroeconomics studies the aggregates and averages over the entire country. It is the decision making process of the country. What should the country do to curb unemployment? These are the decisions they should be thinking about. How should we reduce inflation? What should be passed in budget and what things should not be passed? Macroeconomics studies about national economy. Moving forward towards the next difference, Microeconomics actually studies very small components of economics. As I told you, it is the study of decision making of an individuals like you and me. So it studies very small components, while macroeconomics studies the entire economy or national economy as a whole. It is the study of the entire economy, or it is the study of economy of the country. Okay, moving forward, microeconomics is used to determine the best price for a particular product. What is the best price at which I should sell the chair? What is the best price at which I should sell this fan? It helps you to decide the best price of a particular commodity. Then what does macroeconomics help us decide? It is determining the general price level in the entire economy, in the entire country. How much is the value of rupees compared to dollars? How can I increase the value of rupee compared to dollar? I'd like to ask you this question, that how can we make sure that the rupee increases compared to other currencies? The general price level in our society decides the amount of inflation in our country or the value of money in our country. The value of money increases by a simple scenario. If the demand of rupee increases, then value of rupee will increase. How you can increase the demand of rupees? By exporting more and by importing less. If people in the international market are demanding more of Indian currency, then the value of Indian currency will rise. To make sure that the price level is properly maintained in our country, macroeconomics does different studies. So, it actually studies the general price level in the entire economy. And that is why microeconomics is known as the price theory, while macroeconomics is known as the income theory. Why income theory? Because students, income of all the individuals is decided using the current price level in the country. You would have heard something known as inflation index. You would have heard something known as inflation incentive, which is given to people working in the country. This is the incentive which is given to workers or employees due to the current price level and due to the fact that people can afford all the goods in the market with current income level. The basic salary of everyone is very less. That is the salary which was decided years ago. But the inflation years ago and in today's date would be different. That is why in today's date, a certain inflation incentive is added to the basic salary to make sure that people can afford goods at current prices. Thus, this price level or inflation index determines the income of individuals, and that is why it is known as income theory. Moving forward, microeconomics is concerned about the goals of an individual. The goals of you and me. What are our goals? If I am a businessman, my goal would be profit. If I am a normal consumer, my goal would be to satisfy my needs and wants. Microeconomics is just concerned about optimization goals of an individual, like whether or not they are earning proper profit, whether or not their wants and needs are satisfied. This is what the goal of microeconomics is. While macroeconomics deals with the goals of the entire nation or the entire country. It deals with the optimization goals of our country to increase the GDP, to increase the national income, to increase the exports. These are the goals which macroeconomics deals with. Moving forward, in microeconomics, the flow of factors of production is one-to-one. Suppose you go to a shopping mall. You purchase the commodities which you want, you just pay your bill, you get the products and you go home happily. The transaction is completed. You give money, the shopkeeper give you products, you are satisfied because you got your goods, he is satisfied because he got his profits. The transaction or the exchange of factors of production is one-to-one. Remember this thing. While in macroeconomics, there is a circular flow of income and expenditure. In macroeconomics, we are considering the entire country. So, there are only two bifurcations in the entire country. One is the households and second is the firms. In simple language, one is the producers, which is the firms, second are the consumers, which are the households. Okay, these firms get their factors of production from the households, which means they get their investment, they get their employees and everyone from the household. In return of this, obviously they provide some money to these households. They give out salary to the employees, they give return on investment, which is the part of the profits, or they give the rent to the people whose land they have taken on lease, etc. So, they take or use the factors of production. Instead of that, they give money to these households. Households use these money to buy something from these firms. They use this money to buy things, to buy products from this firm. And in return, the firms give goods and services to the households. So, firms earn profit from the households. And actually firms are the one giving income to the households. Money is constantly flowing inside the country and it changes hands from households to the firms and firms back to the households. So, the flow of money or the flow of factors of production is circular in macroeconomics while it is one-to-one in microeconomics. Remember this thing? Moving forward towards the next difference, microeconomics helps you to make decisions at firm level. Decisions like what should be the strategy of deciding price, how much employees should be employed, what should be the quality of goods I sell, or what should be the quantity of goods I sell, what should be the amount of raw materials I should purchase, what should be the time of raw materials I should purchase, etc. It helps you to formulate policies at firm level, and obviously macroeconomics will help you to formulate policies at national level, like policies to curb unemployment, like policies to curb poverty, like policies to bring down inflation, like demonetization. These things are taught to us by macroeconomics. Moving forward, microeconomics is the study of aggregates over homogeneous products. When I am talking about cold drink industry, when I want to decide a price of one of my cold drink, I only study all the brands which deal in cold drinks. Okay, so I need to study only that particular sector. What are different brands dealing in cold drinks? What are the raw material for cold drinks, etc. Nothing related to any other brand. For example, to decide price of a cold drink, I do not need to know that what is the price of cotton. All the sectors are not required to be studied in microeconomics, but in macroeconomics, it is the study of aggregates over all different sectors of the society. When I talk about macroeconomics, each and every sector is equally important. I cannot afford to help more to the agricultural sector and bring down the chemical industry sector. I need to give proper attention to the economic development of each and every sector, whether it be agricultural sector, whether it be steel industries, whether it be chemical industry. Each and every sector is equally important to me when I am talking about macroeconomics. So, It talks about aggregates over heterogeneous sectors or heterogeneous products, while microeconomics talk about aggregates over homogeneous product or a homogeneous single sector. Remember this thing. Okay students, that's it about the difference between micro and macroeconomics. Thank you so much for such patiently listening to me. This is Dhruvi Bhatt signing off. Until next time. Bye-bye.